Start off. Hello, folks. Hello, hello. This is Pastor Robert Johnson back with you with the second night of Vote to Change. I am a member of Kansas Interfaith Action. You see our logo there on the page, and I'm on tonight with a young adult. I told you this is all young adult driven, and Graciela is on with me, and I'll say more about her and hand off to her in just a few minutes. What we like for you all to do now is just to start a watch party. We are targeting, this is an online voter rally. We're just trying to encourage people to vote. We especially want to target young adults and encourage you to vote. Your vote matters, and you're going to hear a lot about that, particularly from Rabbi Moti Reber at the end of our broadcast. This is just 30 minutes. So if you're like popcorning up and coking up to get ready for the presidential debate, we'll be done way before that comes on. I think that starts at 8. This is 7 to 7:30. It's just 30 minutes. So listen, if you know of a young adult, please tag them, start a watch party on your own Facebook page, tag some folks, invite them to watch this with you. We will go fully live at 7. I just want to invite you to come on, and this is another night of our virtual voter rally where we want to encourage you to vote. I've been saying that this is the most important election of our lifetime. And so it is so important that we vote, not just the presidential stuff. That's important, but I'm talking about hardcore, practical, everyday stuff that affects us on the local level. It is important that you get out and vote because your vote can make the difference. Your vote can, especially on the local level. In many of these districts and many of these elections, sometimes the vote difference is less than 100 votes, sometimes even less than that. So your vote can make the difference. I know here in Kansas, we're talking about expanding Medicaid CanCare, and the vote to do that is within our grasp. And so on the local level in the state of Kansas, we're encouraging everybody to vote. Graciela, welcome, dear. Why don't you introduce yourself to our crowd and then let them just say a little about yourself, and then I will hand off to you and the young adults at 7 o'clock.
Hello, we promise not to take up too much of your time so you can watch the debate. My name is Graciela Verumen, and I'm an educator, an activist, and a member of Kansas Faith Interaction and part of the Racial Justice Working Group. As you know, we try to put faith into action through education and engagement, and we hope that we can provide that for you today. So if you know anybody in your circle that needs to hear this message, bring them over. We have great local musicians, we have great panelists, and we promise not to keep you too long so you can watch the debate.
It is right at 7 o'clock, and we will go fully live, and I will hand off to Graciela right at 7 o'clock. Again, start a watch party. Those of you who are watching from St. Mark, please start a watch party, invite some folks on. All of our young adults, we want you to tag them and invite them to be on so that they will enjoy. We have some music artists on, and then we have some young adults just giving you some very important voter information. And then we have Rabbi Moti Reber, who will close us out just with an encouraging, inspiring word that hopefully will encourage you to get out and vote. So thank you so much for tuning in. And it is 7 o'clock, and our program is beginning. Graciela, we're in your hands, dear.
Okay, buckle up. Here we go. It's going to be quick, but it's going to be super important. So welcome to our second Kansas Interfaith Action Vote the Change Voter Empowerment event. Remember that you can join us through KIFA's Facebook page and St. Mark United Methodist Church YouTube channel. I also want to thank the Greater Wichita Ministerial League for their support and everyone who gave their time and talent to make this happen. Again, my name is Graciela Verumen. I am an educator. I'm an activist. I'm a member of Kansas Interfaith Action and their Racial Justice Working Group. And I hope that we can inspire everybody not only to vote, but to get their friends, families, neighbors, coworkers to vote as well. So we have a lot of work to do on November 3rd. So let's get started. And first, I want to introduce our guests tonight. So our musical artists are Marty Hillard. He is a musician, poet, husband, father, and community member of Topeka, Kansas. We also have Royce Handy, AKA They Call Me Sauce. Sauce is a musician, performer, speaker, and hip hop educator living in Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you guys for being here. We also have our panelists tonight, Anita Austin. She is the program director of Loud Light, which focuses on increasing youth civic participation in Kansas. And if you have not met Anita, you are in for a treat. We also have Verlisa Cradle, another powerhouse. She is a student success coach at Washburn University and the president and co-founder of African American Women's Voter Alliance. And finally, our words of wisdom tonight will come from none other than our very own Rabbi Modi Reiber. Yes, I got it right. I've been practicing all day. He is the executive director of Kansas Interfaith Action, a statewide multi-faith issue advocacy organization that puts faith into action by educating, engaging, and advocating on the behalf of all people and the public regarding critical social, economic, and climate justice issues. So what is there not to love about this great panel and the work they all do? So with that, I want to introduce our first musical performance, Marty Hillard. Take it away, Marty.
Graciela, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for hosting. Just really proud of all this work and excited to share tonight. So I'll go ahead and get started. It's a piece called Alpha Dog. Concrete jungleists. Blacktop parliament for a browbeat public. Arms keep juggling, but the heart needs covenant. What is bought, we covet and blow it all. Seek cover then. Bombs leave rubble, it's no alarm. Streets rumbling, coat of arms, eat knuckles in youth. We all bleed, summering. The appalled plead justice and catalog each scuffle. Corner boy left anonymous in the tall T hustling. They call it a problem, but hardly know what you up against. To bargain your conscience, a form of corporal punishment. When bargaining product, the vultures open discussion in enemy territory, brag and boast of circumference. Cupboard void of sustenance, stomach swollen and utterless, mother hopelessly devoted, Holy Ghost, come and comfort us. Older brother on him popping caught a foe with an uppercut who been asking for it long enough to warrant a pummeling. Kentucky, circa 91, embroiled in that suffering. Alpha Dog, you'll see your martyrdom before you was ever dream. All the cops from Jordans went to war with some armed police. Departure in the summer, you were gone by the autumn leaves. The father of your father spoke in noble economy. The choir sang you conscious and you rose like you sprouted wings. Better to have been haunted than destroyed by that hour's grief. At least it held the promise we could join you beyond the breach. And every holiday we fought to swallow the memory. Gather up the neighbors and we all would go caroling and sing your favorite songs like you were part of the merriment. Both living in the gone, it seems we all need this medicine. Both living in the gone, it seems we all need this medicine. Both living in the gone, it seems we all need this medicine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marty, for sharing those inspirational words and for being so raw and honest. And to our youth, keep writing, keep performing, keep sharing your voice and your art because you are important and we want to hear it. So let's hear now from our panelists, Anita Austin and Verlisa Cradle, as they talk to us about the importance of voting.
Hey, everybody. Excited to be here tonight. Glad for an opportunity to share information with you guys. Verlisa and I are both going to talk a little bit more tonight about early in-person voting, which is just one of the many options you have when it comes to voting this election cycle. But before I jump into that, I'll just tell you a little bit more about me. I'm the program director here at Loud Light, and we work to make information more digestible and accessible, to make it easier for people, especially young people, to be more engaged. As the program director, I coordinate with colleges around the state to provide internships and educational opportunities and different programs to college students. And I really love the work I do, and I was honored to be asked to be here tonight. So go ahead, Verlisa, and I'll let you share some about
Hi, I'm Verlisa Cradle. Thank you, Graciela, for that beautiful introduction. It was amazing. As she said, I'm a student success coach at Washington University. I'm also the president and co-founder of AVA, African American Women's Voter Alliance. It is our mission to serve the minority community, to equip them with the knowledge of their rights, and to help educate them on their voter opportunities, both on the local, state, and national level. And so we're really hands-on with educating our community, especially the minority communities. We're also founded through Omni Circle Group, which those links will be up here shortly. So I'm super excited to be here with you all tonight to talk about in-person early voter registration. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I gotta make sure I keep my eyes on the mute button. We're living in the age of video conferencing. I'm on it. Well, let's dive into that then. Like, what is early voting for people who don't know?
So, early voting, each state, state of Kansas is what we're going to focus on tonight. Cast a ballot in person, of course, at your local elections office. However, we will be giving you some information about your local counties here shortly. Again, you'll go into in-person voting at your local elections office here in Topeka, Kansas, Shawnee County. We started November the 19th. You want to give some more details on that, Anita?
I'm on it. I'm sorry.
We can't hear you.
Where did I leave you guys?
I'm on it.
Okay, well, I am now. What I wanted to say was that Kansas state law allows for early in-person voting, and that can begin up to 20 days prior to the election. All counties will do in-person early voting no later than 1 week before Election Day. And so I think Verlisa wanted to share some of the bigger counties' early voting times.
Right. Before we get there, though, tell us your way. How are you voting this year, Anita?
Man, I am likely to vote early in person. It's why I'm excited to talk about this tonight. I'm typically an election day voter. I like the feeling of doing it with everybody else because voting really is about community. But this year, because of COVID and because I want to be safe and not wait in a super long line, I'm going to do early voting, which has already started in Shawnee County. So I just need to figure out which day I'm going to make my way up there.
I've chosen to do mail-in ballot. However, my ballot just came on Monday and I went and returned it that Monday as well. So I went and dropped it off into the ballot drop box. So that's my way of voting this year. Just wanted to be safe and get it done early. All right, a few counties. So Shawnee County, we started again this past Monday, November the 19th. At our election office, which is at 3420 Southwest Van Buren Street. Our hours are 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sedgwick County early voting location is at your election office, 501 North Main, Suite 101, Wichita, Kansas, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And your Interim Bank Arena as well, and the hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wyandotte County, your election office, which the address is 850 State Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas. Your community center, Joe Amo Community Center, 2810 Metropolitan Avenue in Kansas City, Kansas. And Eisenhower Rec Center at 2901 North 72nd Street, Kansas City, Kansas. Coley County, the county clerk office, which is 321 East 10th Winfield, October 19th. You guys have a little tricky schedule here. October 19th through the 26th. It'd be from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 31st is from 10 a.m. to noon. November 2nd is from 7:30 a.m. to noon. And just a plug here, you can find all those data and locations on the Loud Light website that will also be listed here in our live.
Yes, as mentioned earlier, Loud Light loves being a resource. You can also find some of that information at Kansas Interfaith Action, but definitely check out those two sites as a resource for early voting. And know that there is a lot of different IDs acceptable to use when you go to vote. Anything current that's issued by the government and has your first and last name and your photo ID on it. When you go to vote, they're not matching your address. So if you've moved, but your voter registration isn't the same as the address on your ID, don't worry about that. That is not something that they check when you're voting. They're checking to make sure your name and your photo ID match. And so just a couple more little tidbits for you to hopefully make it easier for you guys to vote this year. We're seeing this huge spike in early voting, which is really awesome, because the sooner we can get those results in, the less confusion there'll be around the election when it's time to count all those votes.
I say that we are really clubbing for this in-person early voting. Again, you don't want to wait in the long lines. It's starting to get cold in a lot of the places. So again, yes, the website that's being shown now is a great resource for more information when it comes to your local election offices and the times and places for early voting in person, or to drop off your ballots in the drop boxes, both after and during business hours of your early voting places. We want your voices to be heard. It's very important, especially with this big of an election that's happening. We encourage you all to rally 5 or more friends, is what we've been telling people. If you can get 5, then your friends get 5, just to matter your impact. Your voice does matter.
Yes, and never think that it doesn't. You have so much power, especially when it comes to your local elections and the people close to home in your county, your city clerk, not city clerk, but city council and your county commission and your DA and your county sheriff. And you have so many elected positions right close to home where your vote has a lot of weight, and people that really dictate what happens in your backyard and in your neighborhoods and on your streets and sidewalks and
school systems.
Yes. Going to school, driving down the road, everything you do, somebody's making choices for you about it, and your voice should be heard. So we just want to urge you guys to vote. Hopefully provided some resources for early voting, but super happy to have this opportunity to talk to you guys tonight. So thank you so much for allowing us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
If you need any more resources, again, Loud Light and Omni Circle Group, both can be found on Facebook. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you very much, Anita and Verlisa. I hope that all of you have been inspired by these powerful women that are doing great things in our community. If you want to be involved, please reach out to them, to any of the groups mentioned, Loud Light, Omni, Kifa, because we believe in the power of the people. And like Anita said, voting is about community. So I hope that you are inspired. I hope that you reach out, and I hope that you vote. So now let's go to our second musical guest, Mr. Royce Sauce Handy.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Once again, man, thanks everyone for putting this event on and inviting me out. Shout out to Marty for tagging me along for this. I think voting is very important. The collective power of people and those voices being heard, and especially locally being involved in the processes, knowing who's who, who's representing you in front of the mayor and the city council, etc. And we have a very big voting day coming up for November 3rd, and I just hope everyone takes it seriously and takes it to heart. This piece I'm gonna do, it's an acapella piece. It's called Radical, and I wrote this song I think around 2015, around the time that I personally was radicalized and politicized around the death of the murder of Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown and things of that nature. And it was around that time I started paying attention to the deeper things behind the scenes that's going on in the world. And I wrote this song kind of talking about why people, become radical. So this is Radical. Watch shining, I'm reclining, I'm on fire, Perfect timing. Put the whole city on. Now they know we shining. We just reaping what we sowed. That's the dopest science. And you know I'm trying. So I'm voting for the fallen soldiers. Whenever they die, we're going to multiply them. And we got to redirect their anger to the real ops. Middle fingers to the slave catchers on field cops. We just try and live out, surrounded in a hopeless asylum where they all make us pill pop. Well, this here is the red one. Shout out to my dead ones. Freedom is the target. I'm aiming with a kill shot. Hate on me, hater, look. I got that from Jill Scott. Neo with the soul, hip hop, but I still rock. You seen the Matrix? We really fighting agents. Haitian Revolution. Life is what you make it. Reporting live from the essence of the Most High. Chips on your shoulders. I got weapons on both mine. Riding through my hood, full of people with ghost eyes. Remember when the government sprinkled us with the coca? Turned us into bakers, then gave us the most time. Now for the bread, they'll pop out and toast ya. And over skin, the cops will kill you and cover it up. They'll pull you over, then they'll hover you up. That's why we burn the Star Spangled up. Racists want to strangle us. Strapped like the Liberation Army, come bang with us. We all in the streets. It's like Smokey on Angel Dust, Trayvon hoodie, and my hair all tangled up. Strapped like Babylon soldiers. Cut the grass low, cut the head off a cobra. Running from the rollers. We ain't did nothing but survive when they showed up. Took us from the shores of our homes. Now they owe us, and now we radical. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Let's all be radical. And then the voice of Royce, let's not forget that freedom is the target. And the only way that we are going to get it is if we are involved. So please vote, get your community to vote, because rights and freedoms are not given. So we have to be involved. Thank you very much, Royce. And now let's hear our words of wisdom from our very own Rabbi, Moti Reber.
Thank you, Graciela. Thanks everybody for participating in tonight's event. I'm knocked out by Sauce's words. Just going to share a few minutes of some thoughts with you about November 3rd and voting and how we make change. So KIFA, Kansas Interfaith Action, is a statewide faith-based advocacy organization. We work on policies around racism, poverty, gun violence, and climate disruption. Our mission is to bring a moral voice to state policy issues, one that brings to life our shared values of human dignity, compassion, and justice. As an advocacy organization, we work in the state capitol, mostly to try to pass legislation that helps people rather than rich individuals or wealthy interest groups. People often ask, will my vote make a difference? And when they ask that question, they're usually talking about Washington, D.C., the president or the senators or what have you. And those are very important, don't get me wrong. But I also understand that they're far away. But our work, KIFA's work, focuses on the Kansas House of Representatives, the Kansas Senate, which meet right here in Topeka and which make policies and laws that directly affect the lives of the people that we know and care about in our cities and in our neighborhoods. Whether it's expanding Medicaid so that more working people have access to health care, or criminal justice reform so that fewer of our fathers and brothers have their lives wasted by a cruel prison system, or it's reforming payday loans so that working people don't get caught up in an endless cycle of debt. We're not talking about decisions that are made far away, but that are made very close to home and that affect all of us each and every day. Friends, I can tell you from experience that the difference between expanding Medicaid or not can and does come down to one or two votes in the State House or in the Senate. And if you look at the history of some of these elections on a state level, they can come down to a few votes. The representative in Newton, the current representative in Newton, won his race in 2018 by less than 25 votes. The representative in Winfield switched back and forth between parties over several cycles because of a couple of dozen votes. It might not be true for president, but in these state races, every vote can and does make a real difference. There are several ways we try to work to change things for the better in our political system. There's community organizing, there's workplace organizing, there's street protests, there's voting. They're all important. But if we're not represented, if our values and our interests are not taken into consideration in Topeka, then it doesn't matter how many people we get into the streets, we cannot win. Because at the end of the day, positive change on these important issues that affect our daily lives comes down to how many votes we can get on a bill in Topeka. And that depends on us, what we do over the next couple of weeks. Not voting means giving up the main source of power we have available to us. If we choose not to vote, we're giving up without a fight. I understand why people are frustrated with politics. I'm frustrated too. I would like to live in a state where my vote for president mattered more. But if you want to see your vote matter, look closer to home. Look at your legislators. Look at how they voted on Medicaid expansion, or on drug law reform, or on fair tax system that is able to fund mental health and substance abuse treatment, or even whether they support action to address COVID, which is doing so much damage to our communities in our state. You can find some of this out with a voter guide on ksvoterguide.org. ksvoterguide.org. If your legislator doesn't support you and your family and your community, then don't support them. Vote them out. There's an old saying in politics that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. The more people we have in the state legislature looking out for regular people, for working people, for people struggling to make ends meet, the better the chance we'll get a good outcome. It's as simple as that. As a person of faith, I believe that if one single person's life could be made better by me voting, then it's my responsibility to vote. And I believe that to be the case. Vote on or before November 3rd and make sure your voice and your values, what you care about and who you care about is heard. And then stay tuned to Kansas Interfaith Action after the election to stay engaged with us as we use all the tools at our disposal to make the change we need to see in the world. Thank you so much.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Rabbi. So let's remember to vote with compassion and justice in mind. Let's remember what the rabbi told us, and let's vote for people that represent us, people that know our struggles, people that care about our communities. And if people don't do that, let's vote them out. They work for us. They represent us. Let's stop making their jobs easy. Let's put them to work for our communities. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Do not miss the final Vote the Change event next week, same time, same channel. And we will have more local talent, great panelists, and hopefully some words of wisdom that will get you and everybody around you off the couch and into the voting places, whether it's by mail, whether it's in person, but please, please, please vote. Thank you to our sponsors, Kifa, St. Mark United Methodist Church, the Greater Wichita Ministerial League, our guests and speakers, and we hope that we are able to empower you to vote the change and encourage you, those around you, to do the same. So we will see you next week. I hope that you watch the presidential debate. If for some reason you're still on the fence, please make sure to watch and listen. And not only listen to what they say, but remember what they do, because we also have to watch what they're doing, not just the promises they're making. So our speakers next week, October 29th, will be Dr. Michelle Van. You do not want to miss this. If she's from the IISIS Christian Center. And we will focus on the last days of early voting. So please tune in. We will see you next week. Thank you for joining us, and encourage your friends to vote and get out and vote the change. Thank you very much.